So moving away from the Mashemeji Derby, we will think about how important it is to develop sports in the different counties here in the country. Some of the governors locally, they have been able at least to make sure that they have a facility that is being utilized by the local-based players. But of key importance, this is a fact, correct me if I'm wrong, I've not just seen a better facility grown and developed from the county level as that in Buhungu, and that is the Buhungu Stadium in Kakamega County. It is a facility that at this particular time, they're saying we are upgrading it. We want to go and make sure that we have the second phase, the third phase, and maybe the fourth phase. But of them, they're saying, yes, we want an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a better facility that maybe we'll have an indoor gymnasium where volleyball, netball, handball, and even basketball will be able to utilize that facility. But speaking to the county leadership, and that is the governor to be specifically saying, yes, I have a mission, and that mission is simple. I must support and build sports, and this facility is just but the beginning. On 12 December 2017, Kakamega County residents thronged to Buhungu Stadium to witness the official commissioning of Buhungu Stadium after the completion of Phase 1 upgrade to the facility. A day that saw Kakamega homeboys welcome FC Leopards in what others term as a local derby. But of importance is the facility that has since been utilized and proved to be vital and of key importance as it is utilized by many who are eager in nurturing talent. In 2019, the Kakamega County kicked off construction of the second phase of Buhungu Stadium, estimated to cost over 3 billion Kenyan shillings, with a dream to make the facility one of the best sporting facilities in the country.
And all along, there has been no proper focus on sports, and that's why when I became governor, my first priority was to upgrade Buhungu Stadium to international standards. And if you go there now, you can see works is going on. We are hopeful that in another 2 years, that project, God willing, will be complete. Of course, depending on the availability flow of funds. The flow of funds has been an issue. Contractors give certificates and we are not able to pay on time. Sometimes they have to pull out, and then we have to pay. When we pay them, they come back, and they have taken time. They are now behind schedule by 8 months. We have also identified few stadia for improvement. Stadium like Mumias. We have here Malinya Stadium. We want also to collaborate with the Kakamega boys, Kakamega school, so that those are also improved to the standards that when we have international matches here, the teams that will come here can use them for practicing purposes. So as a county, looking at what we put in our budget, we actually spend about 700 million just in area of sports, 700 million per year, and that's not small figure.
With a capacity of 30,000, conference facilities, indoor gymnasium, a recreational park, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, the stadium is expected to meet the international standards, not only for sports and recreational activities, but also for meetings and international conferences. But the county is spending heavy, and it remains eager to enjoy the fruits once the works are completed.
Actually, on completion, we were expected to spend about 5 billion shillings, but this has now moved to about 6 billion because of delays and so on. And the fact that we didn't have enough money, we structured it to do it in phases. We have already done first phase, which you have seen. We are now, the one we are doing now is second phase, which is costing about 2 billion Kenya shillings. And then now, already we are tendering the third phase. So in the near future, you will see if there was money flowing in, you will see the second phase progressing very fast, and then the third phase will commence, and we expect this to commence in January. So, and we are giving to different contractors so that they are able to do the work at the same time. We are looking at, by June 2022, at least it should be 3/4 or 80% completed. Sporting can also improve the image of the country. If you are a country that is winning, you become respected out there. It can change the perception of others. It can even attract investors to come. If you are a sporting country, people will be attracted to come here and either invest in the relevant industries that are able to provide sporting equipment, sporting uniform. You will attract the people, and that will create employment.
A number of counties have spent a little for the untapped talent in the country, but there are a few positives one can learn from county number 37.
We are doing this to attract international matches in this region. You can see the best stadium we have. We are in Nairobi and maybe possibly Mombasa. You cannot call the one in Kisumu as an international stadium. Even the improvement that they are undertaking, I don't think I've looked at it. But this one is going to be a very modern stadium. And I think it will only compete with Kasarani. The only thing that Kasarani will be bigger to it because of size. But in terms of quality and facilities, I think it will match Kasarani.
Oparanya served as an official for AFC Leopards for almost a decade in different capacities when the team was at its peak, and he was the club vice chairman between 1996 and 1999. And maybe that is just another reason as to why he speaks with authority on issues to do with sports.
The time I was there, things were different. We were actually raising money ourselves. You found that when you are an official, you had to sacrifice your own other resources. But as I was leaving, I was in AFC Leopards as an official for 9 years. As I was leaving, then the government came in, and the government started sponsoring, especially international matches. And also sponsors came in, like Sport Pesa came in and started pumping in a lot of money. But it reached a time in between when our teams were doing well. It reached a time they pulled back because of also the tax issues that came in. And I think this is an area that the government needs to actually to sit down with the sponsors. There are so many sponsors in football, in netball, whichever sports. If they are encouraged by the national government, they are given incentive so that they can use the money they make to support sporting activities. This happens everywhere, even in UK. You find that if you are in a particular, doing these casinos and so on, they will say, can you invest money in this particular area? So long as you are doing that investment, they encourage you. But here, they want to penalize. They don't want to compensate them, to motivate them, and that has become an issue.
The Kenyan Constitution mandates both the county and national governments to address sports issues under the 4th schedule. And just as the national government, all the 47 counties in Kenya have a responsibility to strengthen sports in their counties.
That they must focus on the youth and make sure that the youth have proper sporting activities to tap talents of the youth, and then to ensure that every county at least have proper facility, even if it's a basic stadium, where youth can actually exploit their potential. And it is important that we engage the youth. And one way of engaging youth is through sports. Also the fact that as a country we have not been able to create enough employment to take care of the youth. It is important that we become creative. What else can you do extra to make sure that the youth is engaged? And the area of sports can engage many youths. You can see that the youth that are now playing for Kakamega Homeboys, if they get some allowance, 20,000 a month, and they are committed there. It is not just a matter of playing football, playing netball, or doing sports, and you end there. What about if you age? So we must have a program that as you age, we are able to take you, but also your talents are invested in the same sector, so that you are able to become a coach, to become a mentor, and so on. And what I feel that this area is important, and the other counties to do, is to make sure that they have proper sporting facilities. And you remember this was the Jubilee promise. It was not for nothing, but it was because they thought very well that this is the only way we can engage our youth. So any program, my friend, any program that will engage the youth, I will really embrace it. And that's why I have embraced the issue of developing sports in this country. I'm sure that with the completion of Bohongo Stadium, we are going to engage more than 1,000 youths in different sporting activities. It is unfortunate that in this country, sports is not given adequate funds. It is unfortunate the other day when you heard that Gor Mahia was going to Algeria, they could not raise money on time. They went there, landed, and the following day they were playing. And you can see they lost 6-0. But if they prepared earlier, they had money earlier from the ministry or from whichever source, and then they arrived there, and then they trained well, I don't think they would have been defeated to that magnitude. So proper investment in sports facilities is important. And we should have clear policies also, clear sporting policies. You can see that the Northern African countries and the Southern African countries have dominated sports in Africa. This is because there is proper investment, both at the subnational level and at the national level. Most important thing is that you must have a proper department for sports. And that sports department should have its vision and mission. What do we need to achieve? And the first thing is to identify talents within the county. Start from the primary schools, secondary schools, and put these talents together. Try to support those talents, evolution of those talents, so that by having, like here we have coaches in every sub-county, there is a coach that we have put there to try and this coach, we give an allowance because we cannot afford to have such a person on the payroll. But if we had money, we would have such a person on the payroll, and that would motivate that person more than what we are. We give them allowances, and then of course they give us these names, and that's how we develop now the count teams. So our count team also now feeds in this other, like Kakamega Homeboys, or any other team that can come here and they see they are playing well, they are free to go. And that's how they develop their future.
And with the betting craze receiving a hit from the government, it will be remembered that in 2019, Kenya deported 17 foreign directors of different betting firms. Days after, they had withdrawn their operating licenses of a number of companies. And this is what Oparanya believes needs to be done so as to solve this quagmire.
And because of the fiasco we have had with the KRA, with the Interior Ministry, and that's why these people have shied off. But I felt that the best solution would have been to sit with these people together. Of course, if you are making money, you should also be able to pay taxes as required, to sit together with them and say, this is what you are supposed to do. They agree with them. If they are making money, and out of that money we are able to make money through taxes, let it be. And also tell them, since they are interested more in sports, tell them a fraction of this money should maybe be channeled to the sports fund. There was a sports fund but that was established by the national government. That should be the fund now be able to support sporting in the entire country. Even allocation for counties should come through that, and even at the national government. The problem that we had, like Ormaya, if it was going out there and they are participating in continental matches, then they should be able to be supported from that particular fund. But unless we do that, and with the constraint that we have in revenue, then it will be very impossible to support sporting directly from the ministry. We need the fund as it has been prepared so that that fund actually can be used for that purpose.
It is, however, a fact that there also needs to be goodwill from political leaders so as to see that not only does sports infrastructure form part of the government's development agenda, but sports is given the seriousness it deserves from the county levels. Now we take a short commercial break, but when we come back, the football conversation continues because the national team head tactician, that is Jacob Ghost Mule, has named his team that is expected to do duty for the country in the AFCON qualifiers. Will we be able to get there? We really cannot tell. But remember, let's continue with the conversation. Will FC Leopards have what it takes to be able to down Gor Mahia in the Mashemeji derby that will be on the mark or on the frying pan this very Sunday? Hashtag is KTN Scoreline, at Moses Wahisi, at KTN News KE. Keep the conversation going.